And welcome back. And it is now, instead of the week of what if, it is the week of who would win. So every day it was going to be, well, the first week of who would win. To compensate for last month, I am doing 2 weeks of what if and 2 weeks of who would win this month. Probably killing me in the process. But I will die. We start out this week's, or the beginning of the week anyway, with one coming us from Isaiah Benoit, or Benoit. I might be mispronouncing that wrong. Apologies if I am. Well, that's the question. Who would win the fight? Team RWBY from RWBY, or Naruto Uzumaki from Naruto? Kind of self-explanatory. Now, on their own, let's be clear, none of these individuals could take on Naruto because you didn't specify any sort of time frame Naruto. So I got to go with what I perceive as the strongest version of Naruto. Now, that could theoretically be Hokage Naruto or him at the very end of the original series. And for my money, I actually always go with him at the very end of the original series, despite the fact in the thumbnail I have the adult one. And the reason for that is, we know for a fact that Naruto is actually a little rusty as Hokage because he doesn't get much time to train. Also, there's nothing that proves that he can actually use the Six Sage mode currently, whereas Sasuke actually continues to train and keep his abilities, up to par, if not get better. So ultimately, I go more with the Naruto of the Six Sage paths from the end of the series. Naruto at that point was a Kage level combatant, if not, above Kage. He had got basically as much chakra as he ever needed. He's had the truth-seeking balls, Shadow Clone still. He has all his Rasengans. He has access to every chakra nature you could pretty much get, have access to, or at the very minimum that the Tail Beast allowed. For instance, he couldn't just create earth and lava from earth and fire, but with Goku's help, he could definitely do that. The Four Tails help, he could do that. So it's not like he can do the storm release or the I'm trying to think, like ice release. He can't do unless the Tail Beast allowed for that chakra nature. Plus, he had all the extra chakra natures as well. So he had lightning, wind, water. He would basically had everything. He can combine with Rasengan. He was basically faster. He had light speed like reaction speed, but his movements was not quite light speed. Like actual traveling speed wasn't light speed. It was. Excuse me, I'm getting over some acid reflux. I found out by what it was, for those of you wondering what was going on. It's my acid reflux acting up. It's been doing that for a while. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. So Naruto's speed is well beyond, it's not light speed, but it's well beyond average speed. Naruto has all his jutsu. He's got the Sage mode, Kyuubi mode, Sage of Six Paths mode, all the jutsu he's gained over the years, enhanced hand-to-hand combat abilities, and enough power to basically level a mountain in that form. Now, it is implied that Naruto is, in fact, a planet raiser. Not planet buster, but raising a planet isn't the same as destroying a planet, technically speaking. Like you could raise the surface of a planet, but the planet is still there. So Naruto, I think, is like subplanetary, assuming he's. Now, I know that data books say he is planetary. We've never actually seen him do so. We know that a part of his chakra can blow, hollowed out the moon, but at the same time, the Earth is much bigger than the moon, and I will say this: he is probably a planet buster. At the very best, he's a planet buster. At minimum, he can raise hell on the planet. So he could wipe out life on the planet if he really wanted to. Naruto, though, is sometimes hot-headed, though he matured later in the series, and he's overall one of the strongest shonen characters there ever is. So anyway, with Team RWBY from RWBY, my sister watches, so I did see a little bit of it. So I wasn't a big, I don't hate the show, it's just not something I really liked. But with Team RWBY, you have Ruby Rose, Weiss Schneiel, Blake Belladonna, and Yang Xiaolong. Now, two of these characters have actually appeared on Death Battle, so I actually do know a decent amount about them. But just to go over real quick, Ruby Rose as the leader is in kind of the main character of the series. Is kind of the aforementioned leader of the group. Personality-wise, ever since she romanticized the huntsman profession and is quick to reveal that she wanted to become a huntsman in order to do that. She has no trouble interacting with her friends. She does have trouble actually making them once admitted that seeing new weapons is like meeting new people, but better. In the second chapter of the manga, it's revealed that she has a fear of large crowds. She has a sweet tooth, doesn't really matter. In combat or dangerous situations, she's quite impulsive and battle eager. As such, when she attacks a Darkstalker upon seeing it before learning it has a high resistance bullets, blades. So she's rash. This trait contrasts with her adaptability, for she is quite able to forming attack plans on the fly, essentially. Since Volume 4, she's shown to be ruthless at times when it comes to protecting her loved ones. Volume 6, she further develops as a leader when she and her friends find themselves in trouble. Powers and abilities. She developed as a decisive leader. She can formulate plans. Her sense of balance stands out, particularly in precarious situations. Her fighting style relies heavily on her creative use of and methods of achieving momentum, relying on combination of resemblance. Well, resemblance in RWBY is kind of like a hidden ability everyone has. And Crescent Rose's recoil to allow her to achieve massive impact force. Crescent Rose, by the by, is a freaking gun scythe. Look, everything in RWBY, every weapon you can think of is a freaking gun. So, it can transform into a scythe or sniper rifle that can fire dust rounds. As demonstrated in the red trailer, she used Gravity Dust magazine, which I'm guessing affects gravity. Dust is essentially like elemental kind of rounds you can put into your weapon. She prefers engaging in close combat, though, although she can obviously use her sniper rifle without a little difficulty. Her semblance allows her to dash at unnatural speeds in whatever direction she chooses at the cost of aura. This happens so fast that sometimes she gives the illusion of teleporting. So she can move so fast in the blink of an eye that it looks like she's teleporting. She displays the ability to use the semblance in midair as well to create powerful whirlwinds that can suck in and knock away opponents. It displays much greater control of her semblance. She has increased the ability to pick up and carry someone. Notably, whenever she uses semblance, she leaves a trail of rose petals. Interesting. Now, she does have something that's called the Silver Eyes. Though through her mother, Ruby comes from a long line of legendary warriors who possess powerful abilities related to their silver eyes, said to be an extremely rare trait. Upon seeing a character die at the end of the beginning, she accidentally uses the power in her grief to petrify the wyvern. However, she has no memory of doing this, and then her head hurting. Later in the episode, it describes as a fairy tale, and it's revealed that Ruby's powers injured Cinderella greatly, causing her to lose her left eye and arm, making it difficult for her to speak for a period of time. States that due to the Cinder's possession of the fallen maiden power, does not explain why is the case. However, Ruby uses her power once again. She who possesses the spring maiden, it's not affecting. So I'm guessing she has the ability to petrify things with these silver eyes. Yeah, she apparently has the ability to petrify individuals. Weaknesses, though. She is skilled in grim-based combat, but does not fare well against human/faunus opponents, which are humanist animals in that world. In addition, Ruby is heavily reliant on Crescent Rose. In contrast to her sister, her hand-to-hand combat capabilities are rather poor, making her easy to be taken down by mere grunts. Without her weapon, there's not much she can do in a fight, and her best bet is to run away with her speed. Her cape, on occasion, has been exploited and used against her, basically getting caught or pulled. Ruby is shown to slightly improve her hand-to-hand combat in order to tutelage against Professor Ozapin through Oscar Pine, okay? Until she was guided by Marina, she used her power of the Silver Eye in reaction to death without control on her part. She's also vulnerable through attacks from behind. So Ruby's very powerful, but right off the bat, if it were just her, she'd lose flat out to Naruto. Weiss Chanel. Point being, I think this was the most recent RWBY character that actually appeared in Death Battle. Now she's a very calm, cold, collect individual, very serious, but is also considered to be a bit of a rebel. Or nice, but can be a little bitchy, according to her voice actress. I take it back. She's not the calm, collect one. But her powers and abilities, again, she's very skilled. Her weapon, which is a rapier sword gun instead. Her semblances tends to use things like wind, Um, when a red, cyan, purple, white, yellow, and blue dust. So wind, like they all have different elements to them. I'll be honest, any of these dusts aren't going to do much to Naruto. So get that out of the way right now. Semblance has the ability that allows to create glyphs that can be used in various ways, creating slippery platforms to scan at high speed, generate mid-air platforms, manipulate her trajectory. With a mastery, she can also summon avatars of foes that she's defeated. She has been also able to summon the Borbatusk that she defeated in a classroom, demonstrated when she involuntarily summons it to attack a party guest that offended her. In the series, the glyphs appear in various colors. Dust, she frequently uses dust and occasionally uses her summons to direct the movement of the dust. Weaknesses, she seems to have limited endurance and stamina. Biggest sign of her lack of endurance, however, is an earned ability to take heavy hits. Everyone on her team, she's been knocked out the most. Spire's glyphs durability, they can be broken. And while she might be more familiar with her summoning ability, larger summons like her Armagigas apparently take greater time and effort to manifest. So she's a bit more capable in some fields than, say, Ruby is, but at the same time, she's also still, glass jaw. Blake Belladonna. One second, come on, Blake. There we go. She is actually the what is it? The funnest member of the group, which is kind of an animal-human hybrid. Now she is, in terms of her personality, described as being very mellow, cool and crisp. She's the calm-headed one. In terms of the fights, she is shown above average speed, endurance, and agility, speed, endurance. Sorry. She also possesses remarkable reflexes and able to dodge nearly point-blank strikes from Adam using her semblance, capable of jumping large distances. Her weapon has three forms. When sheathed, the weapon is able to slice through opponents in two with a cleaver-like cover. However, when unsheathed, she's able to use both blades and sheath in tandem against her opponent. So, great. She's adept at using Gamble Shroud as a conduit for her aura, creating shockwave-like attacks. She appears to be able to freely and frequently change the way she grips the sword. And she can fold the blade into a gun blade, which is attached to an extended ribbon, similar to a Japanese kusagari or a sickle chain scythe. Let's see here. In addition, she uses the momentum of the weapon on the ribbon and anchors herself in midair, and she can grapple with others and other objects. Let's see. Hold on a second. Then her weapon's called Gamble Shroud, which it looks like, it's essentially kind of just a gun sword, but I guess it can take the form of a chain sickle scythe. So her semblance, which allows her to create, she can create shadow clones. These clones can distract and shield her from and hide her from a brief amount of time. Her first on-screen use of these are during the Black trailer. It's not exactly know how long shadow copy can appear for, how far away it can be away from the user. She apparently doesn't have any clear-cut weakness, which probably makes her one of the most well-rounded individuals on the group. Yang Xiaolong, is former student of Beacon Academy. Let's see here. So she's actually probably the most wild child of them, probably the most go with the flow, from what I remember. Kind of person would teach anyone how to push to win. Described as being cheerful, energetic, and a bright lady. She's more aggressive than her other teammates. She's very much a bare-handed kind of fighter, very much a close-range fighter. Her weapons are basically knuckle gauntlet guns, basically. So she fires and everything along those lines. Her semblance lets her take energy from every blow she takes and use it to make herself more powerful. She in a few hits being battered by it seems to be a form of kinetic absorption. Upon taking high levels of damage, she can release bursts of fiery aura that change her hair and eye colors. However, due to the nature of powering up herself, requiring damage, she's limited time when she can use her semblance as seen in their rematch with Adam. And basically, she's not immune to damage. She also apparently has a robotic arm. This is new. I didn't know about this. Cybernetic limb possesses great strength. Its power is shown in two sets where the single blow sent her father is getting back. It shows that her arm can detach from the bicep and give her. So I'm guessing she lost her arm at some point. Weaknesses, however, although she gets stronger when taking damage, her frustration can be exploited by opponents. This weakness is perhaps best expressed in her very brief first confrontation with Adam, her anger causing her to get reckless with him and lose her right arm in the process. Okay, that's how that happened. However, this drawback is more or less under control after her father, told her to focus on using her opponent's force against her. Aside from that, knocking her unconscious before she can regain her fighting stage completely negates her semblance. She's also weak to kick-based fighting styles. She gains more control over her anger. She's seen in her fight with Neo. Fighters well versed in dodging attacks can frustrate her. Her anger can cause her to unintentionally activate her semblance. Somewhat jokingly defines her semblance as basically a temper tantrum. For this reason, due to her improved fighting style and two-step, tells Yang that best left as her last resort. So essentially, she's easily frustrated. She's easy to anger. And she's a close-range fighter. And while her special ability allows her to take damage and convert it into power, she still has to take damage to do so. So, with all that said, look, I'll play out a scenario here, but this is Naruto's fight to win, because none of these girls have any power anywhere near close to what Naruto actually had. So if these four went toe to toe with Naruto, let's say Belladonna creates shadow clones, Naruto even goes, he's like, hey, I could do that too, and then he creates like just as many, if not more, like maybe double the amount. And then they go toe to toe. All Naruto honestly has to do is just go into Kyuubi mode, and he can blitz any one of them. He'll just speed blitz the entirety of that group. So really, there's not much that these girls can do against Naruto. Even if they tried to tag team him, or just 4-on-1 him, he's got shadow clones, so he can compensate with that. Any one of Naruto's Rasengan forms can put these girls down. Naruto's just gone up against far superior foes than what we've seen anything these characters do. Now, the one technique that any of these girls have that can maybe do something is RWBY with the silver eyes. Theoretically, she could petrify Naruto, but that's something she wouldn't just start out the gate with. And she'd have to lock in on Naruto, and there's no guarantee in a skirmish that she wouldn't lock onto the clone. And even then, as he begins to petrify, he's gone up against Kaguya before, who had freaking bone to ash technique, which literally, when you get hit by it, turns you to ash. So it's a slight similar similar kind of idea that he would be able to sense that his body is. That his body's starting to freeze or turn to stone. And because he's moving at such high speeds, he'd easily be able to just go and boom, knock her out. The problem here is I don't see a likely scenario where that happens, because I have a feeling she'll get just taken out along with Weiss pretty quick. So half the team automatically gets taken out like that with Naruto just blitzing him. And let's just say he doesn't use Kyuubi mode right off the bat. He can go into Sage mode instead and immediately have just an idea of how they're going to attack, just better reflexes, everything along those lines, and still have techniques that would mess them up. Not to mention he has summoning jutsu to summon giant animals, which most of the creatures, the Grimm and RWBY, from what I remember, are not as big as someone like Gamabunta. It's like, oh, so we're fighting little girls now, are we, Naruto? Well, they attacked me first. Could you just show them as Frieza turns? I think she's turning me to stone somehow. I've got to disappear before I turn into a statue. And then boom, then Naruto would just knock her out, and there you go. So, I mean, I'm going to only go 1% here. And that's only if RWBY doesn't get knocked out quick. And then she gets a lucky gaze in on Naruto with the silver eyes. And not just that, but it's got to be the real Naruto, not just real Naruto, not just a clone. And then Naruto's got to let that go through. So ultimately, yeah, a 1%, only because RWBY has the one technique that can actually do something to Naruto. Everyone else would really just be kind of trying their best and not really doing any long-term damage to him. So 99% of the time, it's got to be Naruto Uzumaki. Now, I've heard some people go like, really? Is this a joke for some of my Who Would Wins? Be clear. You guys are the ones who suggest them. I'm going based off suggestions here. I didn't choose it in terms of it was my idea to do this. This like came off the top of my head. It's like, why don't I do these two characters? No, someone else. So if you're like, why'd you even do this? Was it total curb stuff like with Korra and Goku? I got some reaction like because someone suggested for me to do that one, and I'm a good nice person. I like to believe. So yeah. Naruto basically kicks Team RWBY's ass. But let me know, be honest with me. Do you actually think there's a way that Team RWBY could win more than 1% of the fights? Let's say, do you think there's a way they can get a 10% win over Naruto at his peak? I argue there is not a way they could do it. Now, if this were Naruto versus them versus say mid Shippuden era, like right after you learned the Rasen Shuriken but didn't have Sage Mode, we'd be having a different conversation. But you didn't ask for that. You asked for just Naruto, so I had to go all out on that one. So yeah, Naruto wins. But let me know what you think of the comments below. Do you think it's Naruto? Do you think it's Team RWBY? Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Now, I will have the last what if. I didn't get to the last what if yesterday. I'm going to do it today, and then we're going to be all cut up for the what ifs. Fortunately, the who would wins are actually a bit easier to keep. The week of who wins easier for me to do than the what ifs. Because really, I just got to do versus scenarios and not do a continuing narration of a story. But anyway, I'll be done with that one in a little bit, and then that'll be it for today, and then we'll have tomorrow. Now, luckily, I don't have to pre-record anything for Wednesday because my schedule's changed. I'll actually just be home on Wednesday and be able to do it when I get out of work. Until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in a little bit.